Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I hope everybody's well, getting ready for New Year's Eve, which is Sunday. So that'll be full of football, pro football. And then Monday, the week playoffs, the strange playoffs that they have there. Looking at yesterday's game, we have Cleveland minus 1 and over 29, and they both hit. What was it, 35-20 or something like that? Cleveland wins, or 37-20, whatever. They cover the spread. Let me, my phone. Let's see. What was the score? $37-20. I had 33-20. I was close. So how did I arrive at that? Well, Cleveland's playing really well. Flacco's playing well. Simeon doesn't look too good. Hey, Alex, how are you today? Simeon looks terrible. Gabriel's better than Simeon, I would say. And Cleveland, is playing very well. And they're a 10-win, 11-win team. The defense of the Jets has really gotten worse. It's a 24 defense. And as you can see yesterday, they gave up 37. So it's not the same 15, 17 defense that started. With Simeon, you're not getting any help. He threw a couple of pick sixes, I think. So the over under a 35, I thought was ridiculously low. I didn't quite, as soon as I saw that, and then I when I saw the 21 defenses, I said, I get it. But when I redid the defenses for the last 6 weeks, and they were 24 and 25, I said, there's no way in hell this game's not going over 29. And I think it was 20-something in the first quarter. So 37-20, they play a 57, not what you would expect in a 35 over under, which is my point that we are smarter than Vegas, because Vegas doesn't get it, right? Vegas cannot, they just look at the total for the whole year and they throw it in there. They don't know how to use the quarterbacks to adjust or anything. So they're looking at Cleveland with Deshaun Watson and Thompson Robinson and all these guys, and they're looking at the Jets with Zach Wilson and that, so they can adjust. What you do, so we adjusted the defense 24-25. Then you add on to that, you adjust for Flacco, who's putting up 30 a game. So how in the world is this a 35 total? And this is what I have against people that play like one team, or I'll play the first half. I mean, I don't care what the first half is. I know it's going over 35 for the game. I don't know when it's going to hit. It's like gold in the Titanic. This ship is sinking, but I can't tell you exactly when. But I know it's sinking. This game's going over 29, but I can't tell you first half or second half. But I guarantee you by the end of the game, they'll be over 29, and they got the 57. Not only that, but Cleveland got you the over by themselves at 37, and it was 29, and I think it was near I think in the first quarter, it was pretty close to it. My pick of the day, Ohio State wins big. What are you, a handicapper now? And what are you? Well, okay, so, Mr. Guest Handicapper, we have a guest on the classroom, and what would your analysis be? What is your basis? How are they going to beat this Missouri team by 10.5 when Georgia couldn't beat them by 10.5. So let's listen to Alex. Go ahead, Alex. How are you arriving at this? All right. We don't have wasted time for Alex to review his thing. Same way UNC killed Louisville, US. Same way. Okay. Okay, so what's the score going to be, Alex? I love your thinking. Don't become a handicapper. Superior talent. Do you really think so? They got Marvin Harrison sitting out. They got a coach who can't beat Michigan. If they could beat Michigan, I would say you're right, but they can't. So I don't agree with that. Have you seen Missouri? Did you see him against Georgia? I don't buy that. I like Cooks. The quarterback and the running back is better than anybody on Ohio State's. That's not even close. And Cook's better than the quarterback from Missouri is better than anything Ohio State has. So I disagree there. They're pretty good defensively. Ohio State gave up 30 to Michigan, so I don't know what you're talking. It was 30-24 or 30-21 Georgia against Missouri, and Ohio State lost to Michigan 30-24. So I say that's pretty even. Coaching goes to Missouri. This Ohio State coach is terrible. Not saying I'm right, just saying my prediction. Well, we don't want a bad prediction. You've got to pick a good prediction. In other words, when you bring in a prediction, you have to prove it, as I do with all my predictions. And I'm going over Cleveland and the Jets right now. You have to come up with why, and your answer ain't making it. So I will continue not to have a guest appear in the classroom. So Cleveland, they needed to win. Their back was against the wall. They won, which now forces Baltimore to win against lowly Miami and take Tugliavua, who he stinks, we all know. Their whole team's injured at this point. Right now, questionable Tugliavua, the running back Mozart, Tyreek Hill, and Waddle are all questionable. It's Friday. The game's Sunday. Oh, no. All right, so let's go through the line. Dallas 4.5, but not really. It's 4.5 here, but when I go into it, it's 5.5, except for this one. So it's 5.5, 4.5, 5.5. So, and 52.5. I got Dallas winning 37-24. I got Detroit with a 27 defense. I got Dallas 13-1 as a home favorite. So this is what we're looking for. Dallas must win the game. They're a game behind Philly to win the division. Maybe to get the 1 seed, but I doubt it because the Niners are not losing to Washington. Washington would not be half of the big college games, right? Georgia would beat them. Oregon would beat. They'd win by 2 touchdowns, those teams. Detroit's clinched their division. Oh, yeah, they could win the 1 seed. Yeah, and, sure it could. So they're gonna play more relaxed because they don't need the game, and Dallas will be on fire. Dallas must win this game to catch Philly. They want to win the division. Detroit's won the division. So from that standpoint, I like Dallas 37-24, 4.5. I get to lay 1.5, even though some of them are 5.5. 52.5. My problem is I think it'll be high school. Well, I'm saying 37-24. What bothers me is Micah Parsons. He can knock off out of the game. He could get some picks. I know Goff's going to throw some picks. Detroit will go for it on fourth down, and they won't get it, which is an under. So I think it should be. I put it this way: Dallas will score in the 30s, but will the Lions get anything? And I've seen them play Baltimore; they got 3, and against the Bears, they got 13. So I really question Detroit on the road can put up point. Yeah. Oh, they did it against Minnesota and New Orleans. Oh, how silly am I? But this is a real team with a real defense, and they're at home, and they've lost 2 in a row. I'm going with Dallas, 37-24, possibly the over 2. But when it comes down to it, I think what's taking me to Dallas is the low point spread, 4.5. I get 1.5. All they got to do is win. But even more so, what I like is that Detroit has clinched. They have nothing to play for. Oh, don't give me, they're play for the 1 seed. Yeah. In their minds, the Niners are going to lose to Washington. Oh, okay. And Philly's going to lose to Arizona. Okay. So with that said, I'm not buying it. And Dallas must win the game. So that's going to eliminate Detroit Detroit to go into Dallas and win is like the economy all of a sudden being good in the U.S. All of a sudden, the U.S. dollar is good. So Dallas wins it. It's just it's a high. Had this been a 47, I would have locked over 41. No problem. And probably got it all from Dallas. Again, Detroit's got a 27 defense. The freaking Nick Mullins threw for 400 yards against them. And all he had was Jefferson. He was just throwing the ball up, and Jefferson was out beating all the guys. Here you got CeeDee Lamb and Cooks, and you got a lot of receivers, a good tight end, and some running. So, and Dak Prescott is not good, but he's got to be better than Nick Mullins. He's not better than Gabriel, though. I would take Gabriel over Prescott. That's the funny thing. I would take. I don't know about Caleb now, but I would take Bo Nix and Penix and Hartman over Prescott easy. All right, so that's tomorrow's game, and then we go to Sunday, and then we'll get to the bowls. We got Baltimore 3.5, 46.5. We'll go through this, and then we'll go through the who's starting and injury and weather and stuff like that. Buffalo 14, 40.5. I don't get this line. Zappe looked pretty good beating Denver last week. With Zappe, New England's a much better team. They score more. I don't see Buffalo. They got to win by 8. No, that ain't happening. Not in the pros. Not with this Buffalo team. I don't know what Buffalo team you're watching, but they're not going to do that. Hey, Gregor Chan. Happy Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. You missed Bobby yesterday. Bobby was asking about you. He said, you're a good kid, even though you vampire us. Chicago, 2.5, 37.5. Let's just do the line first. Houston, 4.5, 43.5. Down from 5.5. That one keeps going 4.5, 5.5. We've got Indy 3.5, 42.5 to Oakland. We've got Jacksonville 637.5. We're waiting on Trevor Lawrence. This is a strong Jacksonville play, and now I got Trevor Lawrence injured, and I got C.J. Beathard if I need as the backup, which should still be Steve Young in Carolina. The Rams 5.5, 43.5. I honestly don't understand. This spread should be minimum of 7 to 8. Oh, all of a sudden, Danny DeVito / Tyrod Taylor is a superstar. Stafford's playing very good. They got all the receivers and Arnold. Yeah, it's a 1 o'clock game, so they got to travel, East Coast time. I think these games should all be at 4. This is ridiculous. Why did the Giants get this advantage? Of course, if they were in LA, it would be a 4 o'clock game, but I don't think that hurts them because then it's 1 o'clock there, but it's 4 o'clock. So I think the East Coast gets the double advantage on this. Philly 11.5, 48. Your free pick is the over in this game. Why the over? Well, after I redid it, Arizona's a Z team with a 27 defense. Philly's an over team with a 28 defense. Philly's going to score 40 in this game. We only need 42. Say we get, needs a touchdown by Arizona. Kyler Murray has an illness, but I would imagine he's playing. Let's see if he's playing. And if not, I don't know who their backup is. Well, it looks like he's playing. He's on the bet type for the thing, Arizona. Did not practice on Thursday heading in, but here he's questionable with an illness, but on the other one, he's probable. I don't know if the illness is a flu or COVID or what it is, but I think it's just a flu. Tampa 2.5, 42.5 against New Orleans. Frisco 14, 49.5, up from 12.5. They must win it because they're after the 1 seed against Washington, and Washington's got a 35 defense. What a coaching job by Washington to coach a 35 defense. Good God. So the Niners, we need 43 here, should get 40 by themselves in this game also. Yeah, you could lay the 14. Maybe McCaffrey gets tired and sits out the fourth quarter like a Nebraska game or something. Seattle 3.5, 41.5 to Pittsburgh. Rudolph against Smith. We'll see. Seattle is a 28 defense. Jesus Christ. Kansas City 6.5, 43.5. To Kansas City, to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's an E team. As far as I know, Chase is out with the shoulder. Kansas City's an under team. Remember that. They have no receivers. I heard Chase bad-mouthing them about they didn't have a guy on the defense that could cover them. They needed to double cover them and da-da-da-da-da. Well, guess what? Every team needs to double cover Chase and Jefferson. And, over under 44 is high for a Kansas City game. Denver, 3.5, 36.5. Who the hell knows? Stick against Stidham. I mean, what are you doing here? $35 defense. Wow. Washington's, yep. That's the sign of a Z team. That's why they're a Z team. They don't have a defense. And Minnesota 1.5, 43.5 to Green Bay. Again, it's Hall against Love. Gabriel better than both of these guys. Oh, Alex, you're funny sometimes. All right. Now let's go more in depth. Detroit, Dallas. Dallas must win the game. Detroit has clinched the division. A long shot for the 1 seed or the 2. Not sure. Dallas off of 2 losses in a row. Backs against the wall. And they play much better at home. 13-1 is a home favorite. Prescott against Golf. Detroit with the 27 defense. Dallas with the 20. Micah Parsons, the best player on the field. Dallas 37, Detroit 24. We'll look at injuries in a minute. New England, Buffalo. Buffalo must win. I don't know if they're in the playoffs or not, but they got to the 9 wins, and they got Miami next week. So if they win and then they beat Miami next week, they actually win the division because Baltimore is going to beat Miami. They're an A team with a 20 defense. New England's an under team with a 17 defense. But they don't look like a 17 defense. There was 26-23 to Denver last week. How I view the game, the spread's too high, 14. That's ridiculous. I have 10. And what I'm looking at is Zappe, right? Zappe's going to score you points. Buffalo's defense isn't all that. They did play well against Dallas at home, and I think they'll play well here. Let's go. Let's see. Allen, Buffalo, 17 defense. Let's go 27-13 Buffalo. Yeah, that's about right. They win by 14. They hit the 40 total. I didn't do that I did that by accident. I didn't like others. They're favored by 14. I just think with New England's defense, Buffalo gets maybe 30. Let's change it to 30. 31. We'll go 31-13. Same score they beat Dallas by. Zappe will get New England some points. That's why we want Zappe in the game. So this makes the game only a 40. I only need 34. Are you fucking kidding me? I got Zappe against Buffalo, and Buffalo scores. Buffalo's an A team. They score 28, 30 points a game. New England doesn't score that much, but again, that's Mac Jones. We got to take Mac Jones out of the equation, and let's look at Zappe. So let's say it's the last 3 games with Zappe. So if we look at so they scored 26 on Denver, 17 on a real good Kansas City defense, 44 there, and 21 on Pitt. So if we look, and I think the 6-0 was Mac Jones, I think. Well, it was Zappe. I don't know if that was a weather day or not. That might have been one of the weather days. But if we look at it, so if we look at the last 3 games, 26 on a decent Denver defense, 17 on a strong KC defense, and 21 on so I'm looking at them to be in the 20s. See, before then, they were a 0 to San Diego, a 7 to the Giants, and a 6 to Indy. Let's see who quarterbacked the Giant game. Yeah, it was Mac Jones, 12 of 21 for 89 yards. So, yeah, once they got him out, then they're scoring about 20 a game with Zappe. So I figure, all right, 14. I only need 34 in the game. I know I'm getting 20 from Buffalo against this defense. So, again, look at New England's defense. And Denver got 23, Kansas City 27, and Pitt got 18. So I don't know what happened in the middle there against Indy, 10-6, 10-7 with the Giants, and 6-0. I don't know what that was about. But since then, they've got 21, 17, 26. So the last 3 games against good defenses, KC's got one of the better. KC's got a 21 defense. So I think this is clearly an over. I wouldn't touch the 14. It'll be close, but I hate to lay 8 in the pros. Are you kidding? Well, that's what I'm saying, Greg and John. Zappe's a much better quarterback. Why they didn't start him in the beginning, as we suggested, is beyond me. Why did they think Mac Jones? All they did was say, okay, nobody will take Mac Jones in a trade. I don't know what really went on, if they wanted to lose on purpose. I thought Belichick wanted to get to, 300 wins or whatever. So I can't answer that. All I can answer is he gets some points. So if I can get 20 from Zappe, maybe, let's say 14, I only need 20 from Buffalo, and I can't imagine not getting them 20 at home, especially when they put up 30 on Dallas, right? So if I really look at that going, well, they put up 30 on Micah Parsons. New England doesn't have that defense. It's a 17 defense maybe, but Denver put up 26 on it. And again, I'm getting more and more comfortable with what the defense means. When I see a 17 and they score 35 on them, I'm going, okay, I gotta figure it out a little bit more. All right. Atlanta and Chicago. Atlanta needs the game with any hope of getting in the playoffs. This is weird. It was just 2.5, and now it's 3 again. I did a double look on Atlanta's defense. For all the games, it's 19. The last 5 was 16, but it was Carolina and Washington and the Giants. So I redid it, going back a few more weeks with better, a couple of decent teams, and they came out with a 20 defense. That's more like it because they're not a 16 defense. They're not that good. The Bears actually have an 18 defense. Look at the Lion game. It was 13. The weather's okay here. The Bears don't need it, but they do want to play well. Fields is probably at the end of his contract, or he's at the end of his playing. I don't know who would want the guy. So Atlanta's an under team, 20 defense. Heineken, I think he's going to play. We'll take a look at that in a minute. And Chicago, an E team with an 18 defense. Over under of 37. All I need is 31. Again, this is not Iowa. This is Chicago, who's at the most an over team. Okay, their defense is a little bit better. Heineken's questionable. Fields is okay. Fields runs for touchdowns. Fields will get me at least 20 in this game. And I expect Atlanta to be in the 14s. It's 34. I only need 31. Let's give a score here. Let's go 24-20, Chicago. Atlanta will keep it close. They need the game. The Bears, that's about right. That's a 44, and we need 31. Enough said. All right, Oakland and Indy. Good game. Oakland has turned up their defense dramatically. Crosby's got a knee, but he's questionable, and he's been playing, so I think he'll be playing. Indy 3.5, 42.5. Indy's an under team with a 16 defense now, and Oakland, and Indy is an even team with a 22 defense. Indy was an over team, but they're not scoring much, and their defense they're playing better defense. O'Connell against Minshew. I think they're getting used to Minshew or how to defend him. Oakland gave up 14 to Kansas City and really didn't score on Kansas City. They'll score a little here, but O'Connell's not going to light you up. What's the score here? They both need the game. Let's go Oakland 17, Indy 13. Again, both strong defenses. Oakland's a little stronger. The way they looked against KC, they're playing really well lately. Lions got lucky they played them when they did. They played them now, they have no chance. And they got the 16 defense. So 16 defense and O'Connell, 17-13. And the over-under 44. So we can go under 50. And where are we going to find 50 points in an Oakland game? Unless Fred Biletnikoff's playing, you ain't going to find it. All right. The Rams, 5.5, 43.5. $43.5 to the Giants. Stafford against Tyrod Taylor, Danny DeVito waiting. He's at the sub place, watching them make a sub. That's Danny DeVito. That's his real role. Rams are an E team with a 22 defense, and it's the same defense for the year as it is the last 5 weeks. Playing Seattle, playing the Niners, Baltimore. The Giants are a Z team. They don't score. They give up 25 a game. That's held true with DeVito, with Taylor, with Jones. Their quarterbacks are terrible. Again, Gabriel's better than all three of these idiots. What impresses me is the Rams are playing really well. Went to Seattle and won. Went to Baltimore and was 37-31 against that defense. Baltimore's got a 18-19 defense. They put up 31 in Baltimore. Stafford's playing well. They're very healthy. Kupp and everybody and Aaron Donald are all playing. The running back, I love the running back. This guy reminds me of Todd Gurley, but now I got Stafford and I got Cooper Kupp, not Goff and that mess. That kindergarten quarterback, now they got a real quarterback. You got to love the Rams here. They have to win. They're 8-7, so they have to keep winning to keep, because there's enough 8-7 win teams that if they go 8-9 and the other teams can go 9, they're out of it, like Green Bay Mini. So they have to win, and they're playing a Z team in the Giants, my favorite. So we're betting against the Z team. You take the Rams. I just take them even. I'm not fucking with an over-under here. I don't know what it'll be. My score, 31-16, the Rams. I think the Giants, 25 defense, they're not going to stop them. LA's playing at a very high level and played very well in Baltimore. Again, they're on the East Coast. But they're playing well, and they have to win, and the Giants are out of it in the Z team. So 31-16, the Rams. Stafford against Taylor. Why is Taylor in the NFL? Taylor sucked at Virginia Tech. That was my lock when I told you about the Auburn, Florida State. I had 3 college. I had all pros and 3 college in my 11-team teaser and my 10-team teaser. And the 3 college were Michigan State beating Stanford with the no-fly zone defense, and they were getting 7. They won that game straight out. And then I had UCLA over Virginia Tech, and they were laying 1 or 2, and they won by 30 because it was before Thompson Robinson, the quarterback before them, and he just ran up and down the field, and they won by 40 points. That was such an easy one. And there was Tyrod Taylor, and I'm like, this guy can't complete a pass, and he still can't. All right, Philly, Arizona. Philly, 10.5, 48. Your free pick. Go over. Arizona's a Z team, but with Kyler Murray, he'll get you some points. Let's go Philly, 42-17 to Arizona. I think that Philly covers this by themselves. Philly's very explosive. Philly's been getting ridiculed by their fans. They didn't look that good last week against the Giants. It was 33-25. They play a 58 with the Giants, but you had guys tackling their own guys on kickoff returns. It was hysterical. Like, what the fuck? I think Philly goes wild. They have to win, no matter what Dallas does. They have to win. But if Dallas wins, it could be higher than 42-17. They will have to win the one. But if Dallas does lose, Philly then needs the win to go ahead of San Francisco. Philly needs the game regardless, but Dallas should win, which should put Philly now, oh my God, we got to win our division and not be a wild card. So with that, look out. Because they're playing Arizona, who's a 27 defense, and Philly is a 28 defense with Matt Patricia as your defensive coordinator. What the fuck is that? How do you end up with Matt Patricia as your defensive coordinator? You can't give Georgia a call and say, can we use your defensive coordinator, or take your linebacker coach and run the Georgia defense? We've got 6 of your players on here. Or just go to the players and go, okay, how do you run your Georgia defense? Seriously, 6 Georgia players, and you're giving up 28 a game. Unbelievable. Terrible coaching there. And then you add Patricia to it. Philly, an over team. They will score 30. They give up 28. Arizona gives up 27. Pure logic here. Two teams with no defense. This is USC against the Washington, right? It's all you can eat. Although Arizona doesn't have their quarterback's not as good as Penix with Murray, but Murray should score. Last week, Arizona put up 16. It was 27-16 with the Bears. All right. And the Bears with the 24 defense. And now they're at 23 if we look at it the same way. So they put up 17 on the Bears. They'll put up at least that on Philly because Philly doesn't have a defense. So, but I think Philly scores and scores and scores and scores. Murray gets a few touchdowns. Maybe they run into their own kickoff guy and get a touchdown that way. Oh my God, Philly's in bad shape. I'm starting to lose interest in the coach. I think he's way over his head. He's all taking credit for the rugby Madoff play. That's his legacy. We ran the Madoff rugby play. New Orleans, Tampa. Tampa 2.5. 42 over. Carr against Mayfield. New Orleans with 21 defense and Tampa Bay at 23 defense. Mayfield's starting to play a little bit better. They're an E team. New Orleans really doesn't score, but Carr's first year. He's got Kamara. It's all up to Olave. Olave's questionable. But he's starting to get into Kamara. He's starting to get into Olave. The offensive coordinator, they're scoring more lately. So we got a 42. We can go over 36, which seems very tempting. Tampa Bay's 9-2 is a home favorite. 13-2 overall. And New Orleans is 9-1 as a road dog. And Tampa is 9-2 against as a home favorite. So they play, of their last 11, they play very close games at home where they win by a field goal. I think you can take – this is a playoff game. I think you can take New Orleans if Olave's healthy. If he's not healthy, I like Tampa. If he's not healthy, I don't like the over. If he is healthy, I do. But I don't – they're not 16, 17 defenses that I'd be playing under in this game. I don't see the under at all. I see this either 36 with Olave. Yes, I go over or I go New Orleans without him, and I'm sure he'll play. He's questionable. It's a playoff game. They must win the game. Frisco, Washington. We all know Frisco's the best team. Washington's a Z team with a 35. Purdy against Brissett. Purdy's healthy. He has the stinger, which I don't know what that means. Maybe Bobby can tell us. Well, the Rams will go to the playoffs, Greg John. Because they're not gonna lose to the Giants. Their problem is next week they got to go to San Francisco, and if San Francisco needs it for the 1 seed, they're in trouble. But they only lost to Frisco 28-23 the first time in LA. So we got the Niners. Purdy with the Stingers, okay, he's playing. They must win for the 1 seed. They're the A team with a 20 defense. And a lot of that, they just played hard teams the last 4 weeks, which raised their defense from a 16 to a 20. Washington is a Z team. They don't score, and they give up 35. Now they're switching from Howell to Brissett, which is like Zappy. Brissett will get you some points. So let's look at last week. Brissett came in, and they lost 30-28 to the JETSs. Now their defense is not as good as it used to be, the Jets. Too many injuries. So with Brissett, they scored 28. They're not going to get anywhere near that against the Niners. They should give us 14. So let's put a score down here. 40-14, Frisco. Frisco lights you up. Even when they're just fucking around, they got McCaffrey, 3 touchdowns. Purdy hits Kittle. He hits Deebo Samuel. Brissett will get us some points, but I think the Niners win pretty big. New Orleans, Tampa, I didn't give you a score. Let's go 24-23. I'll go Tampa for now because it's in Tampa. Jacksonville, Carolina, we're waiting on Lawrence. Steve Young against Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville is not that good. They're an E team with a 25 defense. Carolina is a Z team with a 23 defense. So the defense is a little bit better, but they're playing shit teams. Jacksonville, they're good in London. They won both games in London. So take those two away, they're in real big trouble. They're like 8-7, tied with Houston and Indy with new quarterbacks. So that's how bad Jacksonville. Well, let's assume Lawrence plays because he's injured. Now it's a shoulder, concussion, and the ankle. And he'll still go out there like an idiot. And I'll go 24-13 Jacksonville with Lawrence. That's about right. So they get 37. The over-under is 38. With Lawrence, this is clearly an over. Carolina last week, they lost 33-30 to Green Bay, which shows you how bad Green Bay's defense is. I already circled the over in the Green Bay game. And then I see I got Hall, but I got Jefferson. 24th, Jacksonville must win the game. Lawrence will play, and Carolina is terrible. Jacksonville, their defense is getting where it's the 25 now. And Carolina's a 23, but they don't play, they play Atlanta and New Orleans. I mean, these teams, the whole division suck. Georgia would win the NFC South by 4 games. It'd be like at 13-3, and then Carolina, they've won 2 games. They would not beat Georgia would beat Carolina, no questions asked. So would Oregon. Steve Young, they're stuck with. Miami and Baltimore, very interesting game. This is a must-win number 1 seed game. Baltimore 3.5, 46. Tag against Lamar. Both are A teams. Miami's a 23 defense, including last week. Baltimore's a 20 defense, including last week. As I said, they've been playing Frisco and Dallas. So the whole continuity is a little bit different than playing Carolina, Atlanta, and Detroit, right? So Miami with a 23 defense. Miami is really, to me, an over team. They score a lot, and their defense isn't that good. When I look, they beat the Jets like 30-0. Well, that's skewing their thing. So I took the Jet games out like in college when I take the Division II games out, or Michigan when they play Ball State. Okay, let's take that 62-0 game out, and then let's just go with the Big Ten stats. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So I'm pulling out the Jets 30-0 games, and I'm adding the Dallas 22-20, but really Dallas had the ball at the 1 yard line and Prescott fumbles. So let's go to 27. Baltimore easily gets in the 30s here. I'm going to go 34-16 Baltimore, which is really close to the 33-19 they did last week against San Francisco. This is for the 1 seed. They got it for their division. I look for Baltimore. Baltimore is a very good team. They're very good at home, especially Miami doesn't show up against good teams. As we've seen, Tagovailoa in college didn't show up against LSU, didn't show up against Clemson, didn't show up against Ohio State, LSU, So all the big teams, he didn't show up. He showed up against New Mexico State and Tennessee Tech and the high school teams. That's when he showed up. So not really, and it's the same thing. He played Buffalo earlier. They lost 48-28. So he looks good and throws a smooth pass, and everybody's all excited until he gets in against the big boys. I would say Miami has no chance of winning this game. Now they got 4 injured, and we're going to get to the injury part next. But just looking at it, he's got a hurt thumb. He'll play. Mozart's hurt. Waddle's hurt. And Tyreek Hill. They're all questionable. They'll all play. This is for a 1 seed, and they got Buffalo coming up at their ass. That if Buffalo beats New England, which I'm sure they will, now they got to get. Now, if Buffalo beats them in the last week, they don't even win the division. That goes to Buffalo. So Miami's starting to choke. They feel the heat. Big win with Dallas last week. But again, Dallas choked. Prescott fumbled at the 1. Didn't even hand the ball off to the guy. He gets the ball, he fumbles it. That's Dak Prescott for you. That's what worries me about the Detroit game, but he's at home and it's Detroit. He should win it. So again, this is a playoff game. Baltimore needs it for the 1 seed. And with Cleveland winning, Baltimore needs it just to win the division. So look for Baltimore pretty big here. The only team that beat them is Cleveland. I don't know how they beat them, but they got a few pick sixes. Lamar, he's not a good quarterback, as we know, but he should run it. Miami does not have the defense. So I look for Baltimore 34-16. I think it's an over. I think it's a Baltimore. It's either or. What do you like better? Greg and John, Rams could be dangerous if they go to the playoffs. Well, they're going to the playoffs, and they will be dangerous. And if they get Detroit in the first playoff game, they're going to beat them, and I'll love it. Detroit really has no chance against the Rams because their weak spot is the secondary. Mullins just threw for 400 yards against them. What do you think Stafford's going to do with all those weapons? And Aaron Donald to stop the running game, put pressure on Goff. He'll throw the ball, 3 interceptions. The Rams will beat Detroit by 10 points. Because Detroit doesn't have a defense. They haven't fixed it. They give up 27 a game, and they're going to beat Stafford? Mm-mm. They won't be able to beat Prescott, who's not close to Stafford. Stafford's much better. And neither of them are close to Bo Nix and Michael Penix and Hartman. All right. What do we got? Tennessee, Houston. Stroud against Levis. I think Stroud's playing. I think they're both now playing. They both have 24 defenses. Houston's 5.5. Houston must win the game. They're tied with Indy and Jacksonville to win their division. Buffalo's ahead of them and Cleveland for wild cards. So they're up for the 3rd wild card. So they must win. Tennessee, you got to love the coach, Vrabel, and I just Levis, but Derrick Henry's playing, and don't count them out. And I don't know here. Tennessee's a W team, an under team. We know they don't score. Houston, we'd have no idea what they are. They score in the mid-20s, give up 24. I don't know. My tendency is to play Tennessee under and play Houston under because Stroud and Levis are both terrible quarterbacks. Hard to say. I don't know. This one really has me thinking because, well, let's take a look. Let's look at Tennessee the last few weeks. How have they measured up? All right, they played Seattle 2017 and lost. Oh, they played Houston 2 weeks ago and lost 19-16. There you go. So they played a 35 and a 37. And then against Miami, they got the 2 touchdowns late to win that game. That's going to come back to haunt Miami. And then Indy was a high-scoring game. And then Carolina, 17-10. And Jacksonville put up 34 on them. So there's a lot of low-scoring ones. And then the 28 on Indy and the 28 on Miami. Otherwise, it's not been 20. So I think you got to go under and look at that game in 19-16 and go, yeah, it's about that. So I think this is an under. It's 43, under 49, 50 points. Let's give Houston a 2017 win here. It should be close. Actually, Tennessee's a dog might be a good play, but I don't know. That's Derrick Henry for you. Pitt and Seattle. This is a playoff game. Pitt's a W. Pitt's an under. Seattle's a W. Rudolph against Geno Smith. Geno Smith's looked pretty bad lately. Pitt has the 18 defense, and Seattle has a 28 defense the last 5. Now, they have played good teams, but still. You've got Rudolph and Smith. I think this is an over game because I think Seattle can score on Pitt, but I think Pitt can score on this team with this team's defense is not good. So when you see a 28 defense, you can't play it under. And it's only so you go over 35. Pitt with Rudolph, he put up 30 points last week against the good who was it? Against the decent Cincinnati team. So I think this game goes over 35. Maybe you go Pitt 9.5. Play against Seattle 13-2. So yeah, this is probably an over game, over 35. I trust that more than Pitt 9.5. But again, it's Rudolph. Is he going to be that good again this week? Was it? Oh, he shot his wad. He played one good game. Denver, San Diego. Denver 3.5, 37. Stick against Stidham. I think it was a contract problem with Russell Wilson. He didn't want to renegade. I don't know what it is. I'll have to read the story. Denver at home, but so now it becomes an under because you've got 2-0 quarterbacks. Stick, okay, he looked good against Buffalo, which is another reason I like Buffalo under or over is because Stick lit him up. Right? They played a 46 with Stick in San Diego without Keenan Allen, and they still lit him up. So I don't know what Stick does at Denver. He'll have problems. 22 defense for both. So I think this is an under, but I don't like it at all. I don't like San Diego, and I don't like Denver without Russell Wilson. I love the coach, but I don't know what's going on there. Both teams are pretty bad. Cincinnati, Kansas City. Cincinnati, an E team. 25 defense. KC, an under with a 21 defense. Mahomes against Browning. They're starting to figure out Browning. Play against KC is a home favorite, 14-2. Play against them, 30-5 the last 35, which only means that Cincinnati and 12 is probably good, but I'm not touching them with Browning. Where's my Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow, this is the lock of the century, getting 12 points in Cincinnati, but not with Browning. KC, it's a playoff game. Really, the Cincinnati have a chance. The playoffs, I don't know, especially if Pitt wins, but KC has to win to win the division, and then I don't think they're going to catch Baltimore. Baltimore beats Miami. Actually, whoever wins that, I don't think KC can catch. I think this is an under 44. Really? Why is this 44? KC's an under team. They have a 21 defense. Cincinnati, they don't really have much of an offense with Browning. He was good, and then last week he got all of 11 points on Pitt and threw 4 turnovers, 4 interceptions. I think KC shuts him down. As far as I know, Chase isn't playing. I'm going to double check that right now. He's questionable with the shoulder, but I don't see him back so soon. Jamar Chase was limited in practice Thursday and questionable with the shoulder. So he's still questionable with the shoulder. So he might play, but I don't think. And even if he does, Browning, I just don't think there'll be a lot of points. And last but not least, Green Bay, Minnesota. It's a playoff game. They both need it with the slim hopes of getting into the playoffs, but mathematically, now you're Hall against Love. Gabriel's better than both of these too, Alex. It's funny how Gabriel is better than about 10 of these quarterbacks. Green Bay with a 24 defense, Minnie with an 18. Gave up 30 to the Lions last week, scored 24. Mullins throws for 400 yards. You go back to Hall. I don't know because Mullins threw 4 picks. I don't think Mullins was your problem. Minnesota is 14-1 overall in a teaser. Carolina bet against 15-0. So Jacksonville's the play if we get Lawrence. Washington bet against them is 14-1. So the 49ers are the play, even though we're laying 14. And then Green Bay, Minnesota. Minnesota 10-2 is a home favorite, 14-1 overall. Bet against them as a home favorite, 11-1. And Green Bay 9-1 is a road dog. This should be a close game. I forgot to do the scores. Okay. Seattle, Pitt. 24-23 Seattle. Denver, Seattle. 17-16 Denver. KC. 20-6 Kansas City. Green Bay, Minnesota. 24-23. I'll give it to Green Bay. Those are your picks. All right, let's go to the injury part of it. And this will give us weather. Now this is, I don't know when they update it. I don't know if it's updated at 2:47 or not. Detroit, Dallas, everybody is playing for both teams. Cooks, Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Pollard, Prescott. Elliott must have really sucked. Pollard's not that good. It's in a dome. No injuries. Miami, Baltimore. Tagliavua is now okay. Mozart is questionable, the running back. Tyreek Hill is questionable. Waddle's out. Waddle is not on here. Wilson and Berrio. So now you don't have Waddle for the game, but you do have Mozart. And Hill was out with an ankle, so he might not play. So there's 2 strategies going on. Baltimore's fine. Lamar, Edwards, Bateman, Beckham. So, and their defense. So what you do in this game, if we don't get Hill, we take Baltimore. Baltimore's only laying 3.5, 3. If Hill plays, we then go over the 41. Baltimore will get the points. Will Miami score without Hill and Waddle? They'll be fucked. So we'll have to keep an eye on it. But Hill did not play. He's got a bad ankle, didn't play. He did play last week against Dallas, didn't he? So I'm confused. If he played last week, why would he be questionable this week? So he's probably going to play, but we got time on this one. This spread's not going anywhere. People actually think Miami's good, and we know better. New England, Buffalo. Ezekiel Elliott's on New England. So that's news. He's questionable. Smith-Schuster's questionable. And Hunter Hurst-Hemley, the wrestler, is the tight end. Buffalo is fine. Their whole team's fine. So it makes we still like Buffalo. That should get the 31. And with Zappy, I don't need Elliott, although Stevenson I think's out. And I got Parker and Douglas. So I got enough on New England that I should be able to get my 10 points. They're laying 14. I wouldn't touch the 14. I don't know. That was Zappy at quarterback. Atlanta and the Bears. Heineke is playing, so we like the game over. Okay. Heineke, Brooks Robinson, London, Jeffrey. Okay. The Bears, DJ Moore and Fields are good. D. Mooney's questionable. Whoever that is for the Bear, a wide receiver. Shouldn't have any impact on the game. It's Fields, it's DJ Moore, it's Heineken. So that's all set. Oh, well, let's look at the weather. I apologize. Detroit, Dallas. I think I didn't because it's in a dome. Miami, Baltimore. No rain, 7-mile-an-hour winds, and 47. So weather not a problem there. New England, Buffalo. 60% chance of rain. It's 38 degrees. So no snow and 8-mile-an-hour winds. So does it rain? Does it rain the whole game or not? Who knows? Atlanta and the Bears in Chicago. 33, 69% chance of snow, 13-mile-an-hour winds west-northwest. So it's the winds that I'm more concerned about. We'll have to wait on this one. If the winds go to 25-30, it's an under game, and I don't want to go under with the Bears, but I might have to. The snow I don't care about. That does not affect the game. So it's the wind. So let's see what the wind looks like Sunday. Tennessee and Houston's in a dome, doesn't matter. Levis and Stroud are fine. Derrick Henry and Hopkins are fine, and Nico Collins is fine. So they're pretty healthy in the key positions in a dome. Oakland, Indy, Josh Jacobs questionable. Michael Mayer from Notre Dame questionable, and M. Pittman for Indy. Minshew and Taylor are playing. I have no idea the Indy receivers. Again, this is in a dome. So this is good for the under. Josh Jacobs is questionable, and Meyer, and then this Pittman guy. So this should be, as long as our guy, our defensive end is playing for the Rick Crosby, as long as he's playing, then that's the guy I'm looking at. Not, I don't care about O'Connell and Jacobs. Carolina and Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence questionable, Zay Jones questionable. Everybody's good for Carolina, and this is 7-mile-an-hour winds, 57 degrees in Jacksonville. So weather or not an issue. The Rams and the Giants, 46 degrees, 8-mile-an-hour winds. Weather's not an issue. Pretty much everybody's healthy. Stafford, Tyrod Taylor, Barkley's good. Kay Williams for the Rams, Cooper Kupp. Puka Nuka is questionable with David Robinson. So one of their receivers is out. And Will Robinson from Lost in Space he's questionable for the Giants. But as long as Stafford, Williams, and Kupp are playing, and Aaron Donald, that's all I care about. And again, it's 8-mile-an-hour wind. Arizona, Philly, 10-mile-an-hour wind. No rain, 44, 10-mile-an-hour winds, nothing. Kyler Murray's questionable, but he's got an illness. I'm sure he's going to play with the flu. Jalen Hurts, Swift, everybody's healthy for Philadelphia. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. Julio Jones, I didn't know he was playing. He usually doesn't play. Usually he just sits there and says, my hamstring hurts. I can't play for 5 years. Kyler Murray, questionable. Like I said, with the illness. So we'll just wait. But when I go into the other one to see the injury, he says he's probable with the illness. Again, 10-mile-an-hour. New Orleans, Tampa, 6-mile-an-hour wind, 64 degrees. Bobby, you going to the game? Bobby going to go? Everybody, well, Derek Carr, Olavi's questionable. Kamara's okay. Mayfield's fine. Evans and Godwin are fine for Tampa. Tampa's all healthy. And so it's, if I want to go over, it's Olavi. If I want New Orleans, I'm waiting on Olavi. If Olavi don't play, I'm taking Tampa. It's as simple as that. They need Olavi. The Niners in Washington, 7-mile-an-hour. So they're getting lucky on the East Coast that it's not 30-mile-an-hour winds and rain like we had 2 weeks ago. It's 1%, 47 degrees, 7 miles an hour. So it'll be no problem. Now Brissett's questionable. So they'll have to go back to Thurston Howell the third. I don't think he's injured. I think he's just, they're benching him. And then Brock Purdy's fine, which he has the stinger. McCaffrey's fine. Debo Samuel and Jennings are now questionable. Ayuk and Kittle are fine. So really for the over, we want Debo and we want Brissett. And they're both questionable. I'm sure Debo's going to play. And then Brissett's got a chance. I'm sure he'll play. Pitt and Seattle, they got Pickett, but he's not supposed to be back till January. So I don't know what I'm saying. Najee Harris questionable. Kenneth Walker for Seattle is questionable, as is DJ Metcalf. So this is let's wait till maybe Sunday morning to play this. San Diego and Denver, Keenan Allen questionable. Jim Palmer, questionable. He's from the Orioles, I think. And Denver, Stidham, Cordell Sutton, and Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims, yeah, it's Russell Wilson's fault. Marvin Mims fumbled the kickoff for a touchdown. Yeah, okay. Sutton and Mims are questionable. Judy's okay. Stidham, I have no idea. Let's see if we can get some breath on Stidham. All right, on New England, he played 3 games, 2 of 4 for 14 yards. In 2020, he was 22 of 44. Woo, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. In 2022, he played a lot. He was 53 of 83, 656 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That was in 5 games. So he played 5 games for New England and then 5 games for Oakland. And it's hard because Oakland has such bad talent to really get a job. So in Denver, hasn't played 1 game. I guess that would be last week and handed the ball off. Doesn't show a whole lot, does he? And the weather is 7 miles an hour here. Did I do the weather on Pitt, Seattle? 3 miles an hour, so nothing there. And Frisco, Washington, I did 7 miles an hour. And then we get to Cincinnati, Kansas City, 34 degrees, 11 mile an hour wind. Shouldn't really affect it too much, although we're going under. Chase is questionable. Pacheco's questionable. We want those 2 guys out. We don't want points. So San Diego, Keenan Allen and Jim Palmer, Sutton and Mims for Denver. Chase and Pacheco, we want them injured. Green Bay, well, we want them to not play. Green Bay, this Christian Watson's doubtful. Aaron Jones supposedly playing, but he never does. And then Addison from Minnesota is questionable. Jefferson will be playing. So I give a small edge to Minnesota because they're at home and they're in a dome. So that's the bottom line because Stone Cold is saying so. So that's your pros. Your free pick is Philly, Arizona over. The 28 defense against the 20. This is like a college game. This is like USC playing Washington. Go over. That's about what I have here. I mean, this is go over. 2 terrible defenses. I think Philly puts up 40 by themselves, and it's 48. All we need is 42. So we need a field goal by Arizona, and I'm sure they'll get more than that. Okay, that is pro. Any questions or comments, let me know. We will adjust this. Well, tomorrow we got the Detroit game, and then Sunday morning we'll get a few of our, like Trevor Lawrence and the Denver and the KC guys, what's going on. Now, if I go in here, so if I look at NFL injuries and I want to see Chase, I won't go through everything, just a few. So Jacksonville, it says Beathard's probable, and then it gets to Lawrence. He's questionable with the Sunday. So they're, I think, expecting Beathard to be the quarterback. Kansas City. Was there anybody there? Pacheco, questionable with a concussion. And we wanted to look at Cincinnati. And Jamar Chase questionable with the shoulder. So that hasn't changed. Okay. All right, let's go to college. So today in college, we have 4 games, although I'm sure one's already done. Clemson, Kentucky. Clemson was 4.5, 45. I have no idea the score. I like Kentucky in 10.5. Second game, I don't know when there's Oregon State, Notre Dame, and then there's Memphis, Iowa State, and then Missouri, Ohio State. Here we go. 6 minutes left in the game. Clemson 25-21, and they're in the red zone. Oh, no, they've already scored. They lost. They missed a 2-point conversion. Why would you go for a 2-point conversion up 4? Oh, God. All right. 6 minutes left, 27-21. So Kentucky was winning. Notre Dame is 7-0. Second quarter, 6 minutes left. That's good. We got the game under there. All right. So Iowa State 10.5, 58.5. All right, against Memphis. And we've got Ohio State 5.5, 51.5. Boy, that really jumped. So it's almost like some Ohio State guys are playing because the numbers going back up. Missouri was favored, then it went 2, and then it went 3, and now it's 5. And the over-under was 51, went down to 48. Now it's back to 51. They're playing games. I know the quarterback's out, and I know Marvin Harrison's out. I'm not aware. First of all, if Missouri's quarterback was out, the over-under wouldn't go from 48 to 51. It would go down. So I don't know. Alex likes Ohio State. I don't. All right. Tomorrow, Penn State 4.5, 49.5 to Old Mississippi State or Old Mississippi. Auburn 6.5, 47.5. Tagliabue Jr. is not playing. Georgia is now 20.5, 44.5. As none of the Florida State teams gonna play. They're all. I don't get it. If you're screwed and you didn't make the playoff, I would think you'd beat Georgia and say, "Look at us." But I think without Travis, they realize they can't. I'm going to put in a score 37-0 Georgia. I think they shut them out. Florida State has a defense, although I don't know if it'll play. I don't know. How do you go out there and not try? I really don't. And they got a pretty good coach, so I don't know. Wyoming 3.5, 44.5 to Toledo. That is tomorrow. And then we go into New Year's Day. LSU 9.5, 55. Tennessee 6.5, 36. Oregon, what do you do with them? 16.5, 67. Michigan still 1.5, 44.5. And Texas 4.5, 62.5 to Washington. And we'll go in just to see the top line injuries. Thank you, Greg. Good, John. Georgia should win. Well, Florida State's not playing anybody. I hope so. And then we've got, why do these players not play in these bowl games? Well, most of them are like, they're transferring, so it doesn't make sense unless the school they're transferring to tells them not to play. Some are getting ready for the NFL draft. They don't want to get hurt. So if they play and get hurt, they're trying to get drafted. Although now apparently they're paying them more money to transfer than they are in the NFL. So hard to understand that. Why is Bo Nix playing, and then why is Tagliavua Jr. not playing. If anybody needs to play in a New Year's Day Bowl, it's Tagliavua Jr. He sucks. He needs exposure. He needs a big win over Auburn very much. Now, Georgia, their quarterback's playing. Brock Bowers is, I think, opting out. I don't, because he's kind of injured, I guess. Toledo's quarterback's not playing. I have no idea. And Daniels is not playing for the NFL. Well, he won the Heisman, but I think it's terrible. I think they should sign a contract to come to the, all right, we want you to play for football for LSU. You got to sign this contract, and we'll pay you for your tuition and your room and board. However, if you don't play in the bowl game, we're not going to give you your money. And if you sit out for the NFL draft, we're not going to give you their money. And if you transfer to another school, the contract's void. I'm so tired of these guys, a bunch of babies. Oh, I can't play. Oh, I got beaten out, so I'm going to transfer. Well, we don't want you on the team anyway. You're not very good. So I don't know who would take the backup running back on a team with no running backs. But anyway. Clemson, Kentucky's almost done. Oregon State, Notre Dame. We know the whole Notre Dame offense didn't play. And we got Goldberson in, and Ugliabugalea didn't play for Oregon State. But we already know that, and that game's close to halftime. All right. What we don't know, we got a half hour Memphis, Iowa State. Both teams are playing, from what I can see. Now, I'm going to give you a little thing on Iowa State. Rocco Beck, new quarterback, playing very well. The key to this game is Abu Sama, a running back for Iowa State, put up 250 yards in the last game against Kansas State. And they put up 50 points. So he reminds me of the Oak State running back, although I've never seen this Abu Sama. But Gordon, now I can't. Ali Gordon is this great running back at Oak State. And people thought that I was hard on Bowman, going, well, look, they're winning. And it wasn't Bowman, it was Ali Gordon. And this Sama is running like Gale Sayers here, although I haven't seen him, but he ran for 250. Memphis has a weak defense. I look for this game to go over also, just because Beck can throw the ball. And Memphis, they're at home and they're playing to win. So I think this is 57. You go over 51. I'm not sure I like the 10.5, but Iowa State always has a good defense. So if you're worried about that, maybe you take Iowa State. But Memphis should score on them. Good offense, good quarterback in Hennigan. Also better than half the NFL guys there. And then the last one is tonight, Missouri, Ohio State. Cook and Schrader are very good for Missouri. And then you got Ohio State. Devin Brown hasn't played. Your starter's out. He probably got traded because they couldn't beat Michigan. And they lost to Michigan again. That's 3 years in a row. Todd Day's about to get fired, the coach. Devin Brown. And then you got Marvin Harrison out and the quarterback out. So Ohio State's fighting with one hand tied behind their back. As far as I know, Marvin Harrison, he's opted out is what I saw. Let's double check because we're wondering why is the spread going crazy. So this is telling us transfer portal and getting ready for the NFL. Ohio State, Kyle McCord will not play. He's transferring. Devin Brown should be healthy enough to start. So he's injured, and he's going to play. Then the transfer, starting wide receiver, Fleming out, cornerback, who cares about these guys? These are lights. These are players that got 20 snaps, so they're not even players. Opt out. Starting wide receiver Marvin Harrison is out. Stravion Henderson. Maybe the line's going up because he's playing. I don't know. And then some of these other guys announced they will play in the Cotton Bowl. So I don't know what would make the line go up. Marvin Harrison playing, but he's not. I don't know. I don't get it. It must be the sharps and the algorithms. The algorithms are algoring, and they're all betting Ohio State. Well, good luck, boys. Mississippi, Penn State. Everybody's playing. Dark and Allard. Again, Auburn, Maryland. Thorns playing for Auburn. And Blake Edwards is going to be the quarterback for Maryland, not Tag Jr. Georgia, Carson Beck's going. Brock Bowers probably out. And Brock Glenn, he's the, fifth string quarterback for Florida State, will be the starter. If they score 3 points, they win. That should be how the game should go. Toledo, their quarterback's sitting out for some reason. Wyoming's quarterback's playing. Wisconsin, Mordecai is their starting quarterback. Their starting running back sitting out. And then Daniels is out for LSU. Neusmeyer, who I get nothing on, is playing. Liberty and Oregon. Salter and Bo Nix are playing. How long, I don't know, but they're both playing, not sitting out. Iowa, Tennessee. Deacon Hill is the quarterback for Iowa for 10 points a game, and then Tennessee sitting out their guy. So what do you do when you lose the starting quarterbacks? That's right. You go under, because how are they going to score against Iowa? First team to 10 wins. Alabama, McLennan is probable, the running back. And other than that, everybody's good except for the Michigan All-American left guard is out with a broken leg. And nobody's taking that into consideration. Texas, Washington, obviously everybody's playing. So that's that. Let's go through the line. All right. So I gave you Auburn 6.5, 47.5, Georgia 20.5, 44.5, Wyoming 3.5, 44.5 to Toledo. Toledo's quarterback's out. LSU 9.5, 55 to Wisconsin. Again, Daniels is out. Wisconsin's running back's out. Their quarterback Mordecai is playing, who was good at SMU and not good at Wisconsin. I don't know what you do here. It's really confusing without Daniels what to do. Tennessee 6.5, 35. I don't know why they're 6.5 when their quarterback. This number hasn't changed, and it was 8, but their quarterback's out again and again. Iowa with this defense, 35.5 is a big total for Iowa. So I don't know where first one to 10 is going to win this one. Oregon 16.5, 67.5. I'm not sure what to do here. Is Bo Nix really going to play the whole game? And the Liberty quarterback is very good. They are very explosive. But Oregon with the killer defense, do they try? Are they playing? And the problem is you could go up to kickoff and then they start sitting down, or one guy gets a little hurt and all of a sudden they all sit down. I mean, I don't know. Does Oregon care? Liberty cares, but not Oregon. 67.5 is a big number in this type of game because Oregon's got – if Oregon really wants to play, they got a great defense. They're going to shut down Liberty. So this is extremely confusing to me here because I remember Oregon and Colorado 44-6 against prime time. They got 6 on me. So tough one. Alabama, Michigan 1.5, 44.5. I still am shocked that Michigan's favored. And then Texas, Washington, Texas 4.5, 62.5. look for a high scoring game. Let's go to gold real quickly. Gold, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Well, gold's at like 2065. Down 1 for today. 23. It's slow trading with the holidays. It's a Friday. All right. So today we didn't play Kentucky. We've got the Notre Dame game under, and just for Alex, I took Missouri in 11. I think they're going to win the game. See, I can explain why. I asked Alex to explain his pick, and he couldn't. He's a bad boy. So we will see. So that's your football look. It gets really hard right now because who needs the game? Who's injured? Like Jacksonville. Jacksonville would be a lock if Trevor Lawrence was playing. But now he's got concussion, a shoulder, and his ankle. And at the end of the day, is he playing? They've got C.J. Beathard. Looks like he's going to be playing. He's probable. I think Lawrence will play, but he's so banged up. But that's what you're looking for. Is they're in a must-win against the Z team. You can't get any better than that. So we got Frisco against the Z team and Philly against the Z team. It's like a dream. The difference is Buffalo is not playing a Z team in New England, right? They're laying 14, but I'd rather lay 14 with the Niners against the Washington 35 defense or Philly with the 27 defense of Arizona. I'd rather do that. I think the Niners, because they have a defense, and Washington doesn't have an offense and gives up 35. Arizona shouldn't score a lot. They did beat Dallas this year, but anyway. So I do. So we got tomorrow night. I like Dallas getting 1.5 or even at home off of 2 losses and a must-win to have any hope of winning the division. So they have plenty to play for. And Detroit don't have a defense. I'd be scared if it was Baltimore or Frisco or one of these teams with a real shutdown defense. I'd be like, shit, they're not going to move. But not against the 27 defense in a must-win game. Even Prescott will look good. So I don't know if I answered your question, Gregor. Why do these players not play? They have no reason to, and they shouldn't. But the problem is they're getting paid for school and room and board, and they get free meals. And it's $100,000 a year to go to college now. I don't know how they think they can sit out the game when that's not what they're getting paid for. They're getting paid room and board and free education to play football. That means every game. I don't know where they think they can sit out. Now, they can sit out the transfer, I think, but I'm not quite sure that that's legal. To get ready for the NFL draft, I don't know. I guess they're leaving anyway, so therefore they can, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to get ready for the draft. Maybe they could. But the transfer shit, I don't agree with at all. I think it's, because what you're saying is I don't care about my bowl. Then why should I? Why should I travel to, Florida to go watch Michigan play Alabama in the Orange Bowl? Well, if you don't care about it, why should I spend my time and money to go? I'll go to Amsterdam. Anyway. Russell Wilson is leaving them. I think it's a contract thing. I don't really know what's going on there. TK, I see this guy in my giveaway gold and silver to people and the people don't know what it is. I don't understand what you are saying. I see this guy in my giveaway gold and silver. What does that mean? You're sounding like Bobby. I don't understand your question. He has a coin shop in New York. He gives away gold and silver for promotions. So he's giving it away. And what you're saying is the people don't know what it is. People don't know what gold and silver are. Are these Americans, or are these like people from Cuba or some country where there's no money? Well, again, they're keeping the people uneducated. Like, we're way up here in our education. We're in the master's level, right? Everything I give you is a master's level between football and stocks and gold and economics. And they're down here and they've never been presented gold. So they don't understand what gold is, and they don't understand what money is, believe me. I'm sure these aren't rich people, because if you have money, you research, where do I invest my money? You would know gold and silver, as I'm telling you. The people that don't really know, even my friends in Russia and the Ukraine and Germany and wherever, they all know what gold is. I want gold, but I can't afford it. But they want gold, or I tell them to buy silver. So these people understand it. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is or who the people are. But he can give it to us if he wants. We'll take the gold and silver anytime if it's real. I don't know. I'll check it on YouTube, but people see the key to being like stoic, or Bobby made a comment yesterday where you know football and gold and economics, and he was impressed I knew different areas, and really it's just you dig into things, right? So I dug into football. Why is this that? Why does this team win and this team lose? And that's how I learned. And then I got into gold. I had a master's. And then I kind of dug in a little bit more and I got it, right? It was very interesting to me. And it's the same thing with anything. If it's very interesting for you, you really ask the question, why is the government corrupt? Why is Madoff this? And you dig into it. And when you dig into it is when you learn about it. So you ask the question, why is gold 2,065 right now? And your answer is because they're keeping the price down using derivatives. Is that legal? No. But then you learn that the people who make the laws and convict people are the ones supporting it. So then they're never going to jail. They pay a penalty or a fine. Like, that's supposed to make it go away, and that's it. So, I don't know what to tell you there, but, I'm sure not everybody understands football betting or football. A lot of these guys, I asked the lifeguard, I says, do you follow football? There was a game I wanted to talk to him about. He says, no, I don't follow it. And I like, how do you not follow? He didn't even know what football was, or he didn't follow it. So yeah, there's people that their interest now is video games and Bitcoin or whatever. So there are probably people in Bitcoin that don't understand what gold is, or they don't understand what money is, and they're probably poor. I don't know, but again, that doesn't concern us. Not everybody knows everything, and they're not smart people, and all we can do is go, well, they're not smart people. I don't really care. And that's where you become stoic, I don't care about the noise. I don't want to hear that noise. It drains me. So they don't know because they haven't learned it or they haven't been exposed to it. That's their problem, not ours. So, it happens, but there's nothing we can do, and there's nothing we care about. Okay, fine. They don't understand what gold is. Who cares? As long as we do and we're buying it. Now I'm getting into an argument, not an argument, but with Jenna. Jenna's not understanding that gold is kept down and is going to go up. She says, well, I only got a few coins. And, I'm trying to explain to her about freedom. I said, well, gold's our freedom because they're printing the money to zero. And if we stay in money, we'll be broke. But if we go into gold, we'll have freedom because we'll have money. And she's not getting it. Thought she got it, but now she's not getting it. She's saying, well, we won't. We're not oligarchs. We're not going to be rich. And I'm saying, are you not listening to me? Why do you think I give you gold and silver? Because, all you need is 2 or 3 ounces is going to give you a lot of money because it's not going to be 2,000 an ounce. It's going to be 50,000 an ounce. And she's not getting it. So I'll try to explain it to her again, but I can only explain it if she wants to listen, which she doesn't. Now, when I talk to her, Daria, about it, she seems to get it. I told her today, my Russian spy, I said to Daria, I said, okay, Putin is taking over BRICS January 1, which is 3 days away. I says, can you please keep me informed of any news that comes out about Putin and BRICS and gold-backed currency? I says, the problem is I don't know if I'll hear about it in the West, that you'll hear about it in Russia. So she says, sure, no problem. So I'm sure she will keep us in the loop, which is important. She gets gold. I show her what gold I have, and she's excited by it. Okay, good. I'll be well taken care of. But Jenna's not getting it. She's not getting. It's 50,000 an ounce. You got 2 ounces is $100,000. What part are you not getting? Well, it won't go to 50,000 an ounce. Or she doesn't get it, so she can't understand that it's price fixed and everything else. So, what am I going to do? But tell her that. So I don't know, but I'm trying to explain gold as freedom. And she's not getting that concept. So I'm like, whatever, Jenna. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway. So with that said, I was going to write something down. Oh, okay. Stoic. So what is stoic? I showed you this video yesterday. In the stoic world that we live in, so there was one I showed you, they will beg for you. So this is stoic. And the reason is because they want you, which got me thinking. And there's one thing I understand with the Russian girls is they always look pretty. Even if they go to the drugstore, they just, leave the room to go eat the breakfast buffet. They always put their makeup on and look good. And I started thinking of that, and they will beg for you. And I finally figured out what that is. So basically, you see a Mercedes or you see a Ferrari, and it's beautiful, and you like the color and the shape, and you go, I want it. So you want that vehicle, or you want gold, or you want this diamond, or there's this beautiful emerald or sapphire, or a nice Rolex watch. It's pretty. You want it. You desire it. And they're just sitting there, and you look and you go, I want this. That's what they're talking about, is your presentation, that you want the girls to want you to come to you. It's got to be your presentation. So you got to look like that light blue Ferrari or that gold Rolex watch that people go, wow, I want that. Well, it's too expensive, but I want it. And that's the idea, is you have the package that they want. So they'll come to you to see your presentation and package and the way you look and your hair and your body. And then they get to your what car do you drive and how much money do you have? But that is them wanting you, as opposed to you walking up to a girl. Hi, how you doing? I'm Howard. What do you like to do? Let's go to dinner. Da 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 da. And you're like hoping they say yes. You don't know if they will. You're hoping for some tells, some poker tells that the girl smiles at you. She likes you. She would go to dinner with you without really telling you. She's telling you with her poker tells. But really, you want the girl to come to you, or the guy to come to you if you're a girl. So the girls, they just look pretty and they're in good shape, and the guys come to them. That's what they want. Okay, I'll just sit back and the guys are going to come to me because they want me. And so that's what you want as a guy. You want to present yourself looking good, and they will come to you. And that's, I think, what they're saying. They will beg for you is so that's why you sort of you want to look like a nice Rolex watch, a nice pen, a nice suit, a nice car, and then people want to buy you. And that gets us into economics, where that's how you create a market, right? Oh, look at that steak. It looks really nice. I want to buy it. So a lot of market is looks. As I showed you the Canadian Club bottle, this is designed a specific way to get you to buy it. You go, oh, wow, I like this look. So that's what marketing is it gets you to see something and you want to buy it. And that's what you want to do. And that's the thing with gold. So when I talk about gold always having a market and always having a value, that's a big part of it. It's gold. Everybody likes gold because it looks very nice and it's pretty and you can't destroy it and it has a high value. That's why I say it'll never go to zero, because it has that. This everybody sees it, realizes it's worthless, right? But gold they see and they go, wow, it's really pretty. And then what do you hear? Oh, I wish I could afford it. I don't have any money. What do I do? We'll go buy silver. And silver looks pretty, but there's something about gold versus silver. So that's why gold will always have the value. It's the look, it's the presentation. Therefore, there's the demand. Therefore, it will always have demand because it looks good. Okay, you're in Bitcoin. Well, what does Bitcoin look like? You have no idea. There is no Bitcoin. It looks like a spreadsheet. I don't know. That's the problem with Bitcoin. It doesn't. You're not excited to get it. You don't even know what it is or what makes the price go up. Is there demand for Bitcoin? You have no idea. We know there's demand for gold, and we know the central banks buy it, and Russia and China do. So I was watching a video today on something. And it was talking about, China might collapse. Let me show you. Okay, so this one says the collapse has begun. And he says a major economy is about to collapse. Okay, so I take a look at it and I will show you my comment.
For a while now, I've encouraged Americans to protect their savings with physical gold from Chinese stimulus packages.
Okay, so they're talking about China going out, that their economy's in trouble, right? This is what they're saying. Here's my comment. So I will read it to you. They have 60,000 tons of gold. They're fine, the professor. Their economy might be struggling in paper, but they got 60,000 tons of gold. They're not worried about it. So that's what you got to understand. So when it says the collapse has begun, oh my God, it's China. They got 60,000 tons of gold. They're not really worried about it. Then I was reading this one. They're going down quickly, 15 fast food chains that are in trouble. So I watched this, and then I realized most of them are mismanaged because of debt or the lack of a market. So, like Subway, there used to be a market for Subways. Now that bread's carbs, nobody wants to eat them. There's no more market for it. And Jimmy John's, there's no market for it. People don't want, see, the health changed it, right? Like I teach you, don't have carbs. So you don't want to go to Subway. Bobby asked me, should I get this sandwich? I says, yeah, without the bread, just get a fucking pound of corned beef and eat the corned beef. Don't get the sandwich. You don't want the carbs. So who's going to Subway to eat the carbs? All right. Then the same thing with Jimmy John's, and then you got Burger King. And then the price is going up. The cost goes up. Well, it's fast food. I'm going to pay $4, $5 for a burger. That's it. Unless they're charging me 10, I can go to the Coney Island or these other sit-down places and eat. That, your fast food, you're only supposed to cost me $2 or $3. So a lot of them are going out because their business models are fucked. They are trying to charge more and they can't, which is my whole point with the rib place. You start charging $45, you're not going to be open because nobody's going to come. And that's the same thing with these restaurants. You start charging this, $10 for a Whopper or a Subway, you're not going to have anybody there. And that's the big problem. The others, so the problem is the cost, and then the problem is like the health. Kentucky Fried Chicken's one of the, well, nobody wants fried food. Fried chicken's terrible for you. So they're not going to that. Wendy's took over for Burger King because they offer a baked potato and chili. So you can get healthier things than a Whopper and fries. So they were in business for a while and it worked, but they haven't made the adjustments. And that's what I say. You must understand your market. What are you saying, Greg John? Tracks New York City Diamond Julie is the YouTube channel name. TK, what if you can't afford gold? Then you go for silver, but that will never go as high as gold. Well, okay. Well, let me finish this and then I'll answer your question, Greg and John. So the reason so you go into business selling Canadian Club and people like whiskey. Now they don't like whiskey anymore. You can't keep selling Canadian Club whiskey if people don't want whiskey anymore. It's as simple as that. That's why you have to understand the market. And now it's gone a little more healthy. We've got the doctor, we've got our guy, superfoods to eat, telling us to avoid sugar and avoid carbs and eat avocados and veggies and steaks. Everything's wrong what they said. So now we adjust to what he's telling us. So now I go buy avocados and a lot of veggies, and I go eat steaks and chicken, and I watch my fish and a lot of veggies. So that's what I eat with the guy, and eggs, a lot of eggs. I don't eat milk. I don't eat cereal anymore. No candy except for the 86 dark chocolates. And so I'm moving away, and I'm telling you, and I don't know if you're moving away. Bobby is, some of you are. But when you're selling, your market's shrinking. So a lot of these restaurants, the market's going away. Nobody's coming. Traffic's down. You've got to raise prices. Nobody wants it. You have to adjust. I should be one of these consultants, because one of these companies hired a consultant to see why they're losing. And I would tell you in 5 seconds without analyzing anything, it's because your market and you're probably charging too much. It's simple, but people don't understand Austrian economics. That's the beauty of why I teach it, and what you learn that you can't learn anywhere else is that's why people fail, is they don't adjust to their market. Is there still demand? I'm never going to worry about is there demand for Mahomes. Now, what happened with Barry Bonds? He had demand. This is 100 count Barry Bonds. But wait a minute, the price went, the demand went because he did steroids. All of a sudden, the demand for Barry Bonds went out or went way down. So the values went way down, but not Mahomes, and certainly not Mickey, and certainly not Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. So when you select your players, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, you're selecting players that the demand will never go away. Mantle and Mays and Clemente, they ain't never going to lose the demand. Bobby Orr, as you know, Gretzky, Lemieux, the demand will never go away. Michael Jordan. So you got to be careful in cars that all of a sudden the demand goes away. So you need demand in the market, and that's the thing. So look at Bobby's card, right? So this is his rookie card, but look at the color, look at the design, look at the square, the pictures. There's the logo, the pirate logo. They designed the card to get demand. This is a pretty card. I like it. That's what Dunrose did. Topps, Bowman, all of them did the same thing. And that draws you to buy it, like the Mercedes, the Ferrari, the Rolex. That's why they're like the gold. They want to be the gold standard, which means there is no other competition. That's why you try to do that in a business. You really want to be a monopoly, or you don't want competition. Then you can charge more and make more. And that's the idea. I don't want the competition, but you have to make a market, and you have to get demand for it, and you got to price it right. And that I got down to a science, and I should start doing that. But that's the problem. People don't understand Austrian economics. How can they understand any of that? So they don't know. They just go into the business, like where I was at the little shop over there where I was working with the Madoffs, and it was basically they're selling little rollers or something, and I'm thinking to myself, is there demand for this shit? And how much are they paying? So I asked them. I said, "Well, what's your competition?" "Oh, I know that." "Bullshit, you know that." "What's the competition? What are they paying for it? What does it cost? What is your cost and then your profit?" And I told the guy, and I got laughed at for this, says you should just have a menu. If you want this size, it's this much. If you want that size, it's this much. If you want this size, it's that much. This is what we build. In other words, like you're building a car, right? Oh, you want a Mercedes 1 class? I don't know all the classes, a 2 class and a 3 class. This is how much they are. And that's what I told them to do, is just like you're going into Wendy's. A hamburger is $6, the fries are $2, the chili is $2. And so I told them that. I said, just have a menu. Just if you want this size, it's this size, and this size. Because it was all basically, I think, roller crap. And they didn't listen to me. Because you know what they did? They re-quoted every job. What a waste of time. Why are you re-quoting every job? Well, they're all different sizes. Well, don't make different sizes. This is the sizes that we make. And the owners are Madoff. Well, I got to make the customer happy. Well, you're doing the rollers should make the customer happy. If I want to buy a Mercedes, I have 3 different sizes. The Mercedes makes me happy. The color and the leather seats and whatever else is in it, then is my choice. And I'm gonna, if I want leather seats, it's this much. If your quote's already done. And he was re-quoting everything. It was insane. And I'm just shaking my head. And my boss, some CFO, didn't get it. And I just shook my head. And the manager didn't get it. And I just said, this is ridiculous. And I'm the one who's not working there, and all these idiots are there, and they'll be out of business soon because when it's failing, nobody's going to buy little rollers for their back room. And then what else did I see? The banks laid off like 60,000 employees this year. They're all freaking out. Then they think that the interest rates are going to go up, down, which is not going to happen. And they think inflation is 3% because they're looking at consumer price index, not the supply of money. It's just amazing that all these bankers, and they don't have a fucking clue. So they're going, yeah, the CPI is 3.1% from last year. So the prices are 1% higher than last year, or 3.1. So inflation's fine. Like, oh my God. Oh, you keep thinking that. Okay. So basically, that's it. So let me try to answer your question. If you can't afford gold, then you go for silver, but that will never go as high as gold. Well, that's correct, but that's not the point. So it depends on how much money you have, Greg and John. So let's say you have $30,000. Well, you can buy, 20,000 in gold and 10,000 in silver. Or are we talking you have $5,000? All right, so buy 5,000 in silver. The point of the exercise is you have this. So if you don't have this, then there's no point of the exercise. If you have, let's say you have 15,000 and you really can't buy that much gold and you want to buy silver. The point is, step one, you're getting out of this. As I said, the last few classes, if you have 100,000 in the bank, it's not worth 100,000. It's worth maybe 20,000 or 15,000. So it's not worth anything. That's the first step, right? So you're getting out of dollars is the first thing. If it's gold or silver, doesn't matter. It's based on how much money you have. So if you have 15,000, then you want to transfer your 15,000 from this into silver. So we'll use your example. So you want to switch it to silver. Now, will silver go as high as gold? Of course not. It's 10-1, right? So if gold's 50,000, silver is 5,000. But silver still has a value based on what you put into it. So with 15,000, you buy at $25 an ounce, you buy a lot of ounces. I don't know. I'm too tired to do the math. 10 ounces is 250. 100 ounces would be 2,500. So let's say it's 500 ounces. Okay. So you've taken the money, which is going to zero in this because it's paper and it's being printed. So it's going from here to zero. So that's the first lesson. You're getting out a dollar because this is going to zero. And it's gone to zero every time in the history of the life. When they don't have it backed by gold and they print it, they will print it to zero. Look at Germany, look at Greece, look at Spain, look at Sri Lanka, look at Venezuela, look at Zimbabwe. It goes to zero. Okay, so that's your first thing is you're getting out of this. Now you can look around at other assets, and the only assets that you really should be into are gold and silver because they haven't gone anywhere. They've been suppressed. Then the question is, well, what's going to make them go up? Well, the Russians and Chinese, and as the dollar goes away, that's going to leave gold and silver. So your first step is to get out of this because this is worthless and going to zero. So you get out of this, go to zero. Your choices are, a Mahomes card, a Rolex, but you can't buy a good one for 15 grand, or the gold and silver. You can't afford gold, so you go into silver. Now, keep in mind, you can probably afford a 1/10 of an ounce gold. I just bought two for $237, a 1/10 of an ounce. You don't have to buy an ounce, which I would recommend buying some gold. Now, in your other point of it going up, no, gold goes up far higher. It's far more limited and far much more in demand. They buy tons of gold. They'd still buy tons of silver, but gold has a higher value. There's no question. We're not arguing that point. So, but your silver's still worth something. So if your silver is 25 an ounce, you can buy 500 ounces of it. And then silver goes to, let's say, $2,000 an ounce. Okay, well, you got 500 ounces, so you made pretty good money on your silver going up. But for what you paid, you're only paying $25 an ounce for silver, where you're paying $2,000 an ounce for gold. So in retrospect, if I go up 10 to 1 on my gold, I go to 20,000. If I go up 10 to 1 on my silver, I go to 250. Right? So yeah, then silver is 250 an ounce. That's not 25,000 or 20,000, but it's still, you did well on it. So it's still a precious metal, it's still money, and it will still go up. As gold goes up, silver goes up. Now, on a percentage basis, because it's $25, it goes up higher, but really, it goes up from 25 to 250 versus 2,000 to 20,000. The percentage is going to be higher on 25. But as you're saying, yes, the gold will be worth more, but you got to pay more for it. Now, if you buy the 1/10 of an ounce for $237, like I just did, you can then gold goes up. Now it may be worth 2,000, which is similar. Well, it'll be worth more than the silver. We'll go to $200 in gold, and the gold goes up 10 times to 2,300. It's all relative. You can buy $1 million house and it goes up and now it's worth $1.5 million, or you can buy $100,000 house and it goes up and it's worth $150,000 or $200,000. So it's all relevant, but the key is you're out of the dollar, which is most important, and the silver is going to go up, and it is real money. And then theoretically, 10 ounces of silver should buy you an ounce of gold. That's where we're headed. Right now, it's 85 to 1. Well, that can't last, and that's certainly going to be adjusted, and that'll be 10 to 1. So $20,000 gold is $2,000 silver. So that's where we're headed right now until the Titanic sinks. So that's what you got to keep in mind. So it doesn't matter. The real key is getting out of this. This is the real key. And for our Euro fans, our Germans and our Italians and Spaniards, it's to get out of this. This is worthless. This is worth zero. You get out of it. I keep seeing my stuff out there. One guy said all the paper money's worth is like toilet paper, which I've used before. I'm just like, what the fuck? I mean, maybe it's good they're using my terms. I don't know, but they could at least give me the credit for it. I hate when they take the credit for it, like Ponzi scheme, but they don't know what it is. Like that Bill Collar, he doesn't know what credit is or what Ponzi scheme means. It's a Ponzi scheme going on. What are you talking about? I even asked that. I went into his video and I left a comment. What do you mean Ponzi scheme? Are you Madoff? I left that on purpose to kind of be stoic on him. Give him the people's elbow, I think. So that's your answer, Greg and John. That's what I tell people. I tell all the lifeguards and Natasha, Jenna's friend. I said that people, I don't have any money. I can't afford gold. I don't buy silver. Don't tell me you can't afford $25 an ounce. And I felt bad. I told Jenna, I felt bad. I would have brought her a 1/4 ounce of gold and given it to her. So she's got a little protection. Jenna doesn't understand. She thinks we only have a few ounces. It's not going to help us. And I'm thinking, no, believe me, when it moves, that'll more than help you. And yes, we need more, but I have more. I have a lot more, but I'm not giving it all to her. I got to give it to Daria. And I got to keep some. So really that's the thing. So there's economics where you want the market, and that's why everybody loves gold. It's the color, it's indescribable, it's value, and they're keeping the value down. Well, why do they keep the value down in gold? Because they know the demand's huge, if they let it run. So they keep it harnessed to keep the demand down because, oh, well, it doesn't move. And people don't ask the stoic question, why doesn't it move? And if you ask that question, you would realize it's price fixed. And then you'd ask the question, well, is it always going to be price fixed? And you get the answer of no. Bricks is going to blow it up or blow up COMEX, and gold's going to go to its price. And that's why we're all excited. We have a 1 in a 20 lifetime opportunity to get rid of our dollars and still be able to buy gold and silver at these cheap prices. It's unbelievable. So that's a lot of what marketing is. It's making you see a beautiful Ferrari or Mercedes or Porsche and you want it, or a pretty girl and you want it. That's why it's funny. The girls in Europe don't understand when they come here that the girls here go out and they don't have makeup on and they're in sweatpants and they're not, they don't look presentable when they go out, the girls in America. Where the girls in Europe, man, you ever get a chance to go to Russia or Ukraine, holy shit, Amsterdam, the girls just look beautiful. Just going out, walking to the store, going to dinner, they look beautiful. Nice clothes, nice coats, the hair's done. They're marketing themselves, and they're smart enough to understand that. I don't think they carry it all the way forward, but they're smart enough to understand I should look my best when I go out. Even if Jenna goes out with me and she's got me, she's not really looking for a guy. She wants to look, but she takes it to, she wants me to look perfect too. Like, oh, you didn't put on the cologne, or, oh, wait, your hair's out of place, or, oh, wait, there's a little stain on your shirt. She gets a little bit anal that way, but she doesn't realize I don't really worry about that. If I didn't put cologne on, oh, well, who's smelling me anyway? Here, we don't care. We're just like, we don't care what people think, but there they care greatly, and because of the competition. So that's really what you're trying to market is yourself, and that's goes back to stoic. And then a lot of what we do stoic wise is your you stay quiet, but you try to learn everything, or as much as you're interested in. In my case, football and poker and gambling and golf and economics and gold, and that's impressive. You get marketed. Wow, look at this guy. I want to talk to this guy. I want to pick his brain. I want to know what he knows, and that's really that's why you learn as much as you can. You try to be the smartest person in the room, and I always think I'm the smartest person in most rooms, but I'm not dealing with a lot of smart people in the rooms I'm in. Let's put it that way. But I know when I'm not the smartest, and I know when I'm in a room that I better shut up and listen. Then I do try to learn it, but I try to learn it. But I don't lie about I don't know it. If there was some accounting stuff I don't know, I analyze financial statements. I can look at them and analyze them like I analyze football. But I don't know how to, like, one guy asked for a cash flow statement. I go, I don't know how to do that. I can analyze the cash flow statement, but I don't know how to put it together, and I don't have any desire or interest. At my stage, I don't have interest to learn how to do a cash flow statement. I know how to analyze it, but I don't want to learn. I don't need to learn or want to learn. It's not important to me at this point because it's 5 levels lower than where I'm at. I'm analyzing this fucking statement. I don't need to learn how to do it. That's why you have these accounting people to do it. TK, you ever think of owning a coin store? I don't know. I would probably not want to sell any of them. So I would get gold in, and I was a football, baseball card. I was a card dealer back when I was married. So in other words, you'd go to a card show and there's the table and you go up to the guy and you got this card, and you'd look at it and you'd buy it. I actually was on the other side of that, and I liked it because I could buy the cards I wanted far cheaper by buying from the seller, from the buyers, not the sellers. So in other words, the dealer's trying to sell his inventory, and so you're kind of hangling with them. Well, I want 100% of Beckett, and I'll give you 10% off. Well, the kid comes as the buyer to sell his cars, but he's a buyer. He's not a seller. He wants to buy, and so you can say, well, I got to sell it. I can give you 50% on it. So it's the $100 card. I'll give you 50, and he'll take it because he wants to buy something. But if the tables are turned and he's the seller and he's got the table, and you go, I'll give you 50, he's not going to take it. He'll want 75. So I learned that much is I want to sell the buyers, not sellers. So if I owned a coin store, I'd have to have enough capital to do that. But I wouldn't want to, with gold and silver, I wouldn't want to buy it from people at spot and then sell it plus 100 when I know they're worth a lot more. Like gold, some guy comes into the Krugerrand and I give him $2,000. I don't want to sell it for 2,100. I want to sell it for 21,000, but I can't because the market isn't there yet. The market doesn't realize it's worth a lot more. So I can't sell it, but I wouldn't want to sell it at 2,100. I thought about it. I don't know. I just assume buy my gold, and when it goes up, I'll sell it at that point. Gold's fascinating. It prevents a lot of problems. As I was talking yesterday, between Madoff and attack on Wall Street and the stock market crashes and the inflation, gold's got your back on all of it, right? You can't get fucked in inflation where your money goes and loses value. You can't get fucked on the real estate trusts when people don't pay their mortgages. You can't get fucked on inflation because you can't inflate gold. You can't increase the supply of gold. It's whatever comes out of the ground. Dollars you can print, gold you can't. So gold saves your ass all over the place. So my suggestion is just to buy gold as much as you can. And you won't get Madoff, you won't get stock market crashed, you won't get attack on Wall Street guy losing 60 grand. Nobody can ever say it's not worth anything. Because as I said, gold's its own market and everybody wants gold. So there's always demand and there's always a price. And I can always walk into my gold store and in 12 seconds sell it to them. It's the only thing you can do like that, right? So I take this into my gold store. You think how much is he going to give me for it? Or if I take this into the gold, 50 count Mahomes. He doesn't know how much to give me for it, but gold, he knows. I'm going to give you 2,100 for your eagle. He knows exactly what to give me for it. And he'd give it to me just like he knows it's me. He knows it's good. He knows he sold it to me. Here's your 2,100. He did that with my gold. I had my wedding ring and I had a gold bracelet. And I went in there and I get fucked because, well, it's not 100% gold. So we're going to give you like 18 karat of it. And so it's the 18 karat price, which is if it's 2,000, it's 1,500. So I ended up, but he took it and yep, this is good. And he said, what do you want? I said, give me a half ounce. So I switched my wedding ring and my bracelet for a half ounce of gold. And I felt very like I made a steal there because I know the half ounce is worth a lot more than 1,100. But yeah, I mean, they'll take it in a heartbeat. So, that's what I did with it. I have some other little links. I had links to this that I have that are gold that I might take in there. But I'd like to wait until the gold finally starts taking off. So the demand for gold is there. The market for gold is there. People look at it and love it. These kids who didn't know what it was, they're probably like really young and they're probably really poor. and they just don't have any idea, or they're into Bitcoin and they don't know what gold is. And that's the thing, but Bitcoin is not the answer. Bitcoin is what is it? You see, you can't see Bitcoin, so it doesn't have the marketability of a Ferrari or a Rolex, right? It's what is it? Can I see it? No. Can I hold it? No. That hurts Bitcoin. If they would have come out with the actual Bitcoins and said 1 out of 21 million and actually numbered them, that would have made them more, they would have been, and they made them gold, that would have been very creative, which would have created the demand for it. But by not having any physical thing for Bitcoin, it really hurts them because, having the Mahomes in my hand and seeing it, and it's Mahomes, this is huge versus something I can't hold or see. What is Bitcoin? I don't know. Why is it going up? Well, the only real reason is demand. Is there a market for it? I don't know. Not everybody likes it. Not everybody will take it. You can't go to the grocery store and use it. I don't know. Now I can't go to the grocery store at Mahomes, but I could go on eBay and sell it for $5,000 and then go to the grocery store with it. Bitcoin, I don't know what the cost is and the price, the value is of it. And it's changing and nobody really knows the value is the problem of it. The idea is to get out of dollars, but the government's not going to allow it. If it gets too high, they're going to kill it. I don't worry about that with Mahomes. Look at Montana's 100. Well, look at the Tom Brady card. Okay. So let's go to the Tom Brady card. So what do we hear? Bitcoin, if it gets too high, they'll stop it. Okay. So we got Joe Montana at 125. They're not stopping it. We've got Tom Brady's up to $5 million. We got this Tom Brady card at $5 million. Is the government stopping this? Are they saying you can't? No. So I can get a $5 million Tom Brady card, but there's no way Bitcoin can ever get to $5 million. It's impossible. But geez, what a pretty looking Tom Brady. And it's Tom Brady who won 15 Super Bowls. Look at this. Yeah, that's the one. And there's only 10 of them. That's what cracks me up about Bitcoin. Well, there's only 21 million. And I'm like, there's 10. There's, like, what the fuck are you talking about? Limited. I do baseball cards. Limited to me is 100 or 50. That's limited. I have a 1 of 1 Steve Eiserman. I've shown you that before. I can maybe show it to you tomorrow. But this one says, if you see here, it says 5 of 10. So if you look right here real close, it says 5 of 10. All right. 5 of 10 gets you $5 million on one of the 2 greatest quarterbacks that ever played, him and Joe Montana. How is Bitcoin going to get to 5 million? It's not 10 and it's not Tom Brady. We don't know what it, and it's not even a coin. So when I look at gold, I got 2,200. I got 2,157. But look what I got. I got this pretty gold, and it says it's gold. How does that compete with Bitcoin? This is my point. I have it in my hand. You can't say it's not worth anything. It'll never not be worth it. It's too pretty. It's marketed well. It's a coin in my hand. There's huge demand for it. And I know the price is way too low for it. And this is the point about why people argue with Bitcoin. They don't understand the marketing aspect or the economics part of it. Well, it's limited. Yeah, but it's not. It's 21 million. This is 10. This is limited 10, and it's Tom Brady. Don't give me this shit that 21 million is limited. How many of these are there? Right? How many Maple Leafs and Cougar ants are there? I don't know. I know there's 250,000 tons at 32,000 tons, ounces a ton. That's all I know. Doing the math on that, I don't. It gives me a headache, and I don't. And half the time, the calculator doesn't work. But the point is, I don't know how many there are, but I know each one's valuable, and it doesn't matter if it's a maple leaf, a cougar ant, or a dollar. It's all gold. I don't know what Bitcoin is. Is it Russian? Is it Chinese, Japanese, US? It's not said, but I'm not trying to, I'm going to, eventually I'm going to use this to buy cars and houses, and the silver will be used to go to the grocery store. Right now, if I want to go to the grocery store, I sell it and get this shit. And I go to the grocery store the same way I go to the grocery store now. Any asset you sell to get the medium of exchange, which is what the grocery store wants. That's obvious. So it's the asset that's, oh, look how pretty it is. It's limited, it's gold, and that's the point of it. But so you got the Montana rookie card at 125. Are they going to let Bitcoin go to 125? I doubt it. But baseball cards, they don't keep track of. And gold, they don't really keep track of it. Are they going to confiscate it? No. They'll just tax it on the other end. Maybe. Maybe not if we get smart about it. And Bobby says, you know what? I want your gold coin. I said, okay, Bobby, and give me something. And he gives me a Mercedes. And I don't have gold. Bobby doesn't have gold. Nobody knows what happens. And that's what will eventually happen. The silver will buy your groceries, and that's the other thing. No, Tom Brady doesn't have Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't keep track of it. Yeah, I thank you, Greg and John. I appreciate that. What is Bitcoin? It's a digital currency, and it doesn't meet all the characteristics of a medium of exchange or money. It's not acceptable, and is it transferable? And what happens if the internet goes out? There's problems with it. You don't really know what it is. It's not money and it's not gold. So I don't know what it is, but does Tom Brady have Bitcoin? I have no idea. I don't know Tom Brady. All I know is Bobby, and I don't know if Bobby has Bitcoin. So that's really what it is. It's a digital something, and can you sell it? I don't know. When the dollar goes out, are you going to be able to sell it? And if so, what for? My house I can still sell, even though it won't be worth anything. I can get gold for it. If I have Bitcoin, can I still sell it? And at what price? If the dollar goes to zero, my Bitcoin is worthless, as is my house, as is my car. It's worthless in dollars. It'll have a value in gold and silver. Whatever the money is, and the money will turn to gold and silver. Nobody will want the paper crap. That's what you need to understand mostly is get out of paper. Since Jenna doesn't have any money, she can't comprehend that part of the exercise. And I'm too tired to keep teaching her. Like she should be excited with gold, but she doesn't get that. She sees it at 2,000 and doesn't get excited with it and doesn't realize. So when it does jump, I'm going to give her a hard time because I gave her 2/4 ounces and she wasn't. And it was like, and I'm like, that's $1,200 now, but wait till it goes. And at 50,000 or 40,000, they're each worth 10 grand. And when the dollar goes out, you'll have something worth value. But she just sees it as it is. Well, it's worth 650. That's all it's worth. It's not worth a lot. So it's too hard to explain to her, and she doesn't really want to listen or pay attention. And those are the worst students. You want the students who want to understand, who want to learn. That's who I want to teach to. I don't want somebody arguing with me or not believing me or any, or, I got my mind set up. I don't want to hear that. That's not my kind of students. So anyway, that's where we're at with it. So keep that in mind. So you want to look good because you want to be the market. So going back to dressing nicely and having your hair combed and perfume or men's cologne, a nice pair of pants. You want to look good because that attracts the bees to the hive, right? And or the honey to the bees or whatever it's called. And that's the whole key to it. And that drives up demand. And gold is very pretty and worth a lot. Most people know about it. But Bitcoin, we don't know what it is. We don't, there's nothing to see. There's nothing attracting us to it. That's one of the problems. The casino is pretty. So you go down and I can win money. You can play poker. I can win money. I can play craps. I can win money. You could, but the odds are getting worse and worse and worse. And the problem with the dollar is it's really not worth anything. Again, 100,000 is worth, maybe $1,000, but you don't understand that. You don't understand the destroying the dollar. That's the Madoff part of the dollar. And so that's a shame. That's what you should understand. So anyway, that's your economics for today. But you try to be like a Rolex. Think of yourself as a Rolex. I want people to look at me and want me and be nice. And I want the girls or the boys, depending on what you are, to come to me and, start talking to me. And that's in stoic, you want them to come to you. Then they're interested. And that's what's so nice about gold and silver. You go to the gold and silver. That's where you want to be. I was watching Dana White, owner of UFC. He plays poker a lot. Okay. What about it? So don't vampire us now, Greg and John. What is the point of that line? It's taking my concentration away, but I don't know what it has to do with economics or anything. Okay, the guy plays poker. Okay. This is the problem. We don't want the vampires. I was in the hot tub and this lady vampires. Oh my God, she just talks about anything. And then some guy in the locker room, and he just talks. Oh, you going to the thing? Okay, I'll see you at breakfast tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy's out of his fucking mind. What a waste of time this guy is. So I don't even talk to half the guys in the hot tub. A few. One guy was helping with his sugar. He seemed out of it, so I was trying to say, are you feeling okay? Stop eating sugar. And that's about it. So we are at what? The 29th. It's Friday night. I'm trying to get my head wrapped around everything. So tomorrow's the 30th. Sunday is New Year's Eve. Monday is New Year's Day. Michigan, Alabama is Monday. All our football games are Sunday, except for the Detroit Dallas, which is tomorrow. So New Year's Eve, I might go to the casino and play poker. Haven't thought, I used to go down to the buffet for New Year's Eve. You get a nice buffet, and they had New York strips and nice salad. And then you go play poker. And then it'd be midnight, and and at least you were with people. And see, what Jenna doesn't get, I have a lot of friends, but I have friends here, Bobby and Greg and John and all these people. And I have friends at poker, but I don't really go out with them. I just play when I'm at poker. I play poker and I I'm friends with them. But that's it. It ends. Then I come home. I don't really talk to them. Same thing here. I talk to you guys on when we're doing the class, but outside of that, I don't really talk to you. Few people. I get a few emails. But that's the thing. So she doesn't get it. I go, well, I'm real friendly. I got a lot of friends, but I kind of like to be, when I'm not doing class, and I'm not swimming, I want to veg and just watch TV and relax. I need to recharge my battery. So she's all jealous of Daria because she's, oh, you have another girl, and I go, I got a lot of friends. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with that. We're not married, so I don't know what your problem is. Like, she wants me to be her man, and you're my man, and that's it. And you can't talk to anybody. Like, fuck that. That'll never happen. So anyway, that's I like my freedom too much to give that up. But if it's the right girl, but it's somebody that I want to say, look, I do have friends that I'm going to talk to, but it's just being nice and having friends to talk to. So we will see. Anyway, I see I'm at 0, so I think we've got everything covered. So we talked about the restaurants, these fast food ones going out because either their cost is too much or their market has changed and nobody wants fried chicken anymore, or Subway, nobody wants the carbs, and these restaurants don't understand it. But it's really a little of it's the inflation where the price has gone up and they can't compete. So that's happened to some of them. Most of them, they just can't compete. They just don't understand economics. It's amazing they're in business and they don't have a fucking clue. There's a bunch of layoffs at the banks. Watch out for the banks to have big trouble. I see some other people that don't know what they're talking about. This Dana D. or Booth or whatever her name is. She used to work for the Fed. Oh, well, that puts you at a 0 IQ. Like, why are you impressed with that? I'm like, that's a negative to me, not a positive. I would never work for the Fed. And she doesn't get inflation. She doesn't understand interest rates. It's just more and more people that are out there that don't understand inflation that are blabbing about it. Oh, she said inflation's over. Well, how does that affect you? You going to stop buying gold? No. What do you don't have any more money. You're just trying to pay rent and eat and pay your utilities. What the fuck you talking about? So that's the bottom line there. Anyway, so that's about it. So I'm not going anywhere. I met Jenna early. I was hoping to meet Daria. I made the mistake. If you're trying to meet somebody who doesn't have a passport, you can expedite it. You can pay like $20 more to get it in like 2 weeks. We're trying to travel for the holidays. I should have said, get it expedited. I don't know what I was thinking, and it's going to take about 8 to 10 weeks, which will be middle of January, which will put us in time for my birthday and her birthday, late February. So that's what will happen. Outside of that, I'll look forward to that. I might go to the casino and play poker. I guess it would be Sunday night after the game. So I'm going to watch the 4:00 game, the Sunday night game, Cincy KC. I guess it's tough because it's a football Sunday. I really don't want to go play poker because I can't. I'm more focused on the games and the outcomes than I am on poker. Plus, I don't really want to play poker too much because I'd rather just I'd take my 300 and buy silver with it than play poker. And in poker, maybe I win $200, but I don't want to risk losing it because that's money that could buy silver, and that's been my problem. So I don't know what I'll do. I might go to a bar restaurant and watch the Kansas City game for New Year's Eve, but you really want to be the midnight thing. I guess. I don't know. And that's about it. So again, it's another holiday, another New Year's Eve. New Year's Day is Monday, and we'll have our college. And again, so I'll watch the Ohio State, Missouri if it's on TV. I can't find these games. I guess they're on ESPN. I don't have. So I hope Notre Dame stayed under, and then I got Iowa State. I think I took them over, and then Missouri, but very small. And then tomorrow we get into the Auburn, Maryland, Georgia, Florida State, Toledo, Wyoming. So again, there's 4 games tomorrow, and but who cares? When the players and the coaches don't care, why would I care? And you're giving me the third string talent. Why do I care? Why don't they care is the question. I don't understand that. All right, folks, 2.5. So that's basically it. So Bitcoin, we don't know really what it is. You can see the football cards are doing fine. The gold is very much in demand. It's so that's part of it. It's marketed where you look at the coins; they're very pretty, right? You look at the bottle Canadian Club 12-year, you want it. And that's the key is you got to want it. And that's why I keep saying with this, nobody wants it anymore. It's not deemed to be worth anything. And that's why once you realize it's not worth anything, you don't want it. But you're going to want the gold because that always has a value and they can't print it. So remember, they print the dollar to nothing, but they can't print gold. That's why you want it because it can't go away. And as far as Bitcoin being limited, I'll take the 50 count Mahomes card over 21 million. And let's assume that's limited. Like, really? Which we don't even know what it is and we can't see it or touch it. So I don't. That's the problem with the digital shit. I don't follow it. I don't like it. It's like AI. I don't like it. Some of these YouTubes are AI and they talk real funny and all the things are spelled wrong. And you're like, I don't like this at all. So they might be coming out with AI, but I don't know how many people are really going to like AI. And it's got to be marketed and it's got to be demanded. Otherwise, you can't force demand like electric cars. You can't force electric cars. People don't want it. People aren't going to buy it. And then now I'm seeing these ads for electric cars where, your power went out. Oh, you can plug your electric car battery into your house. Oh, so it's not an electric car anymore. It's a fucking battery. Really? So now they're selling it as an alternator or whatever. Whatever those things are. Anyway, I think that's it. Time for dinner. www.teaserking.com. $100 buys you the bowls as we're winding down and the rest of the pro season. As I said, just use the college bowls. I had a few sales yesterday. But it doesn't give the right password. It gives the bowl password. So when I see that you bought the bowl package for $100, I'll send you the password for all the games till the end. Anyway, good luck on everything. And like I said, we got games tomorrow and then all the pros. And we got the one pro game in the Lions, Dallas tomorrow. And then the rest are all on Sunday. There's no Monday because that's New Year's Day, and that goes to college. In college, so your free play is Alabama and the Philadelphia-Arizona over, as both defenses absolutely suck. This should be 42 points. This is a joke. See, if this was USC Washington, this would be a 67. And here it's a 48. And it's like, oh my God, that's very low. All right. I think that's it. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your holiday. Safe travels if you're traveling. If you're having a party, enjoy it. Don't get too drunk when you're driving. I just want you safe. And, it's okay to have 2 or 3 drinks. Celebrate the holiday. Don't have too much more than that. You don't want to hurt your liver or anything. And, it's okay if you just do it New Year's Eve. or New Year's Day. You just don't want to do it the rest of the week. Okay, everybody, have a good day and take care. www.teaserking.com and happy holidays, happy New Year. Stay safe and go gold. We're about to move very quickly soon.